Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday. It is 7 p.m. and it is time for Content and Cocktails. This is my weekly deep dive into all things video making and video marketing. And this is a great pleasure to be doing this every week in and every week out. One of the things that I have wanted to be addressing in kind of recent weeks, but we haven't quite got around to it, is this idea of how do you, if you are creating video content, how do you make sure there's an audience for it? So this is what we're going to be talking about. Hello, Facebook user. Is that Mike Boss by any chance? I think that might be Mike Boss. We'll see if it is. How do you, as a creator of video content, ensure, I might go as far to say guarantee, that there's an audience out there for you? That may sound like a pretty bold statement, but I promise you, with a little bit of research and a little bit of digging and a bit of sleuthing and using the tools that are out there, the free tools and paid tools if you want, you can find where your audience is, and you can also be very clear about how many people are searching for given topics. So tonight we're going to talk about this topic. How do you go and find that audience so that you know that when you're creating video content, there's going to be people there waiting to consume your content? But this is Content and Cocktails. So why is it called Content and Cocktails? Well, it's called Content and Cocktails because this started out sort of tail end of 2019, gosh, many years ago, in terms of internet years. And I wanted to sit down each week and talk about different aspects of video marketing, but with comfort and with a little bit of refreshment. So I thought how nice it would be to indulge my love of food and drink at the same time as indulging my love and interest in video content creation. So Content and Cocktails was born out of that twin desire to both help people with video and my love of sitting down and enjoying a drink. So now most of the time we are drawing as our inspiration from this little book. So this is my you'll have seen this many times before. This is my grandfather gave this to me. This is my my sort of source guide, 100 Cocktails and How to Make Them, by the mysterious Bernard, who wrote this book, published in 1945, War Standard issue, and that's been guiding us. But tonight we're gonna deviate because I fancied a bit of a classic. So I'm going to be making a French 75. Now, if you're a long time viewer, or at least somebody who pops their head around the cocktail bar door every now and then, you will know that the French 75 is a cocktail that I particularly like. In fact, I would go as far to say that it's my favorite, and it requires gin, fizzy wine, a little bit of sweetness, and some lemon juice. So we're gonna I've left my lemon squeezer. How remiss of me. So we're going to mix this. So before we get into the meat of this evening, the cocktail is the bit where I will make a cocktail. And before we get into the sort of the bit where I impart a bit of useful information, I'm going to make a cocktail for myself. So we've got a lemon, and we're going to, first of all, I'm just going to take a bit of peel off it so that we can use that in the drink itself. I'll take a few off because I will be furnishing Una with one of these towards the end. So who was that? Somebody said hello, Mr. S, and I assumed it was. I'm going to go and find out who this was. So it says hello, Mr. S. Hello, Mr. S. We're going to take that lemon. We're going to cut it in half, and then we're going to squeeze all the juice out of it. It's Mike. It's the unauthorized Mike. Now, Mike Boss, very interestingly, is now a qualified. You're a qualified drone pilot, aren't you? You are a man who is qualified to drone, which I'm so pleased about because I've been meaning to reply to your message, because I think there's some interesting kind of collaboration there. So we've got the lemon juice. We're going to have a splash of gin. I've forgotten the bloody ice as well. Oh, this is awful. Bear with me a second. I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to just put a
Cocktails and content resumes in 1 minute. Cocktails and content resumes in 1 minute.
There we go. So this provides you an insight into my slightly bizarre sense of humour. That was my take on a 1970s BBC schools waiting screen. Took this as I'm trying to currently I'm trying to recreate the Thames TV logo and ident for the start of this show, but it's proving slightly more complicated than I'd have liked. So we've got our lemon juice, we've got our gin in there. We're going to give it a bit of a shake. Mike says, I was worried for a moment with the ice and lemon. It may not have been bright. Well, you'll be most dissatisfied by this because it's famously most of the cocktails that come out of the 1940s classic 100 Cocktails and How to Make Them all sort of come out a slightly dishwatery brown color. And usually they're kind of quite potent, I think is kind of the is a fair assessment. This is no, this is not a Mike says not brown. It was just, I know, although given that they only had pink fizz, it may well come out a sort of, oh yeah, no, Mike, you're sort of, it's got a sort of rusty, a slightly rusty water feel. So don't worry. You're I've forgotten the. God, I'm really doing badly at this. Top it up with a little of the. There we go. So this is the French 75, although this is a pink French 75. Cheers. It's very nice. Oh, a bit of lemon peel in there. Yeah. Thing is, it's one of those drinks that you kind of you make and you start drinking and it's gone, and you have to be very careful because it is a potent potable. So you just have to sort of be careful with it. I've learned my lesson from many of these content and cocktails that one is never quite enough. Two is two is never quite enough, but three is definitely too much. There isn't a sort of happy medium between, you think it's going to be 2.5, 2.5 cocktails. Nobody wants 2.5 cocktails, do they? If you've had a third one made for you, you drink it. And that's always a mistake. Hello, Danny. How you doing? I'm still doing this nonsense. Cheers. Still doing this nonsense. But yeah, so what I wanted to talk about this evening was this idea of ensuring, and I use this word quite deliberately, ensuring that you've got an audience. Oh, by the way, if anybody fancies sharing this live, you'd be very welcome to, because I want more people to participate in this nonsense. Yeah, so this idea, how do we, when we are creating video content, ensure there's an audience? You may be thinking, Tom, that's a very bold thing to say. Ensure an audience, guarantee an audience? Surely not. Oh, look at this. We've got participatory drinking. Well, this is lovely. I would, oh God, it would be so great to actually have that drink in person, but this will do as an interim. Cheers, Danny. I toast your success. Danny has had you've I say just come off the back. It probably feels like it's a million years ago already, but you kind of a couple of weeks ago through the most incredible live event in person with real people. I'm determined to be on your stage at some point. Because I did Danny's speaking course at the start of 2020 and have all these lovingly crafted speeches that sort of came out of it. And I was going to go and do a TED talk, but it got really weird. So the guy running the TED talk very tragically got quite sick and had to be off work. And so I sort of had these near misses where you may have seen a couple of years ago. I was like, 18 months ago, I sort of, so I've got a TED talk. I'm going to be doing a TED talk, and then nothing happened. It was a real shame. But it's sort of on my list of things to sort out, including writing this flipping book that is still the millstone around my neck. But anyway, guaranteeing an audience. How do you back up a bold claim like that? You hear a lot of bold claims in the marketing world, and this isn't one that I'm making without a bit of sort of evidence to back me up. So I've been playing around, particularly with YouTube, and this is where we're sort of aiming at the moment. I've started to come at YouTube with a very particular approach, and that is one where I'm taking an evidence-based attitude towards content creation. What do I mean by evidence-based? When I say an evidence-based attitude to content creation, as business owners, we are the kind of people who have always got a lot on our plate. So the prospect of doing marketing activities where there is a sort of a question mark over how successful or how useful it's going to be, that sounds pretty unappealing. If I was to say to you, would you like to spend quite a lot of time making some video content, and you may or may not know if there's a willing audience for it, you'd probably go, oh, that doesn't sound great, Tom. But actually, the way I've been doing this, the way I've been structuring things with what I'm doing with YouTube is that this is about doing research up front and doing your analysis so that you know that the content you're creating has an audience for you. Because every field of the beautiful thing about YouTube is that it's a search engine at the start of it. So people put search terms into the search bar and go very often looking for answers. That's how I use it a lot of the time if I'm not looking for entertainment. Oh, Danny, yeah, this is it. Danny is a stand-up gal. She is the best of the best. And it's, even though we haven't actually seen each other in person since 2020, I think, it feels it feels like we've stayed connected in the virtual space. And and likewise. If you're creating content, particularly on YouTube, knowing that, understanding how many people are looking for any given question is what I start with. So when I'm doing so I've got my one-to-one YouTube package, and this is where we do all of this stuff for you. And it's just 3 monthly payments of 250 quid, and you get all of this stuff done for you. So there's the pitch. If you like the sound of that, give me a bell, or drop me a message, or send up a flare, or whatever you need to do. I will, light the bat signal. So we start off the process by doing a bit of audience polling, understanding what it is your audience wants and how they're thinking, what they're searching for. And then we turn that into a content plan. And the bit that sits in the middle here is understanding search volume. So because YouTube is essentially a search engine, but the end result is video content, you have to treat it as such when you're creating that kind of content. So if you're creating content and then optimizing it after the fact for those search engines, that's fine. But wouldn't it be much better if you did your research up front and understood how many people are looking for any given thing? So I'm just going to share with you some of the tools that I recommend to people. So we've got free tools and we've got paid tools. So the one that I use loads actually is a tool called keywordsearch.com. And this is a paid service, but it is one that's, I think it's still on AppSumo at the moment, but it is absolutely fantastic. And so what you can do, you just put your search term in, and it gives you a range of kind of answers. So if you're out there, if somebody out there, give me a search term, and we'll go off and we'll have a look. We'll do a little bit of we'll play a game here. Do you want to play a game? What's that from? Is that from Scream? Right. So if Mike Boss is there, or Danny's there, or whoever's there, give me a keyword to do with your audience. If not, we'll tell you what. I'll share my screen. So if I was to say, oh yeah, let's use Danny. So let's aerial photo. That is nicely specific, Mike. He says aerial photography, Salisbury. Share my. Just remove this. So even though your name's not the show, I'm assuming it's Mike, as there's only one aerial photography Salisbury guy that I know. I keep on making terrible bad dad jokes about Mike's very big ladder because he shares these amazing. In fact, yeah, go chuck a link in here, Mike, because I want people to see your work. He's had these really beautiful videos of Salisbury Cathedral, much beloved by Russian assassins, kind of protruding out of morning mist. So, aerial photography, Salisbury. I can spell. I think the Salisbury might be a little bit too particular, but we will see what happens. Okay, there we go. Go check it out. That is what? Okay, so this gives us average monthly search volume. Drone photography, Salisbury. What are the related keywords to that? That seems weirdly specific. Anyway, so we're going to see what these search results are on. Oh, crikey. I think it's picking up drone photography rather than Salisbury in particular here. Because that's, hang on, let's just remove the. So this is interesting. So so we're getting a decent amount of search volume. So we know that there's. I'm suspicious around this. I think there's kind of there's some you've got to take a very sort of analytical approach to this kind of stuff. So using a tool like this first off is great because it gives you some guides. It not only shows you sort of search terms. So drone, aerial photography, Wiltshire. Widen it up a little bit and see what happens. So when I say guaranteed audience, what we're looking for is a search term with really high volume, but not many people creating content for it. So Wiltshire photography on YouTube has one search, but if we changed it to, given the nature of YouTube being video, we will change it to a video. So we'll put drone video Wiltshire. We'll also take that over here. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for something with reasonable search volume, which we've got here, but almost no competition. So a phrase like drone video Wiltshire, which would probably be up your street, or drone video Dorset, and surrounding counties, you can start to see that there are some useful kind of tools out there, some useful opportunities out there around this keyword, and I am looking for sort of decent enough volume, but low competition. So when I say a guaranteed audience, if you've got a search term like drone video Wiltshire, you would then take that back to this. You would just start kind of feeding the information back in. So the other tool that I use, now this is something that is really it's available to people I'm working with one-to-one, because it's not something I recommend people shelling out for, because we bought this tool Tubix as a sorry, I'm just to be very clear, this is research that I was doing for a client around sewing. We're optimizing the sewing channel, and so every time I bring it up, it's coming back up with this. We were planning out a video around how to create sort of a video around altering the length of a crotch in trousers, and I was, so I just feel I ought to sort of explain. Nike, it's not what it looks like. It's fine. And if I was, there'd be nothing wrong with me searching for terms like crotch length size charts. But what's really interesting, so this is a tool called Tubix. if we're working together, it's something that I can add you in. If we're not, the tool suite is now like 700 euros a month, so it's crazy. But we got in on a lifetime deal years ago, and it's turned into an amazing product because it has this amazing tool. So once we've done the research, one of the things we're doing with people is obviously creating content plans, and one of the things that is incredibly useful is this tool they've added. Oh, if I can find the darn thing. Hang on. Ideation. So if I put drone video Wiltshire into here, it does some of the thinking work for us. Now, don't get too hung up on raw volume, because when we say drone video Wiltshire and it's saying projected view, I think that's very much on the low side. But what you've got to remember is that because it is a search engine, you will have if somebody is coming and putting the phrase drone video Wiltshire into the search engine, that indicates a very high level of intent. And if somebody using that phrase finds your content and then follows, if it's been created sort of effectively, it doesn't necessarily matter about volume of created views, if those views are the right kind of views. Now, a client of ours is a company that rents out industrial generators, and we had a similar situation where we created video content for them, knowing that industrial generator hire or generator hire UK were search terms that people were using on YouTube, and relatively small amounts of people. It's like kind of 150, 200 people a month were searching for those. But if you have put the phrase generator hire UK or industrial generator hire into a search engine, the likelihood is that you are either in the market for hiring a big generator, or you are within that space looking, sort of hunting out the competition. And we put the content up there, and it provided, it almost instantly started generating calls, because nobody else in the generator space was using YouTube, which is kind of astonishingly very often the case. Business uses YouTube very poorly a lot of the time, particularly small business, because it's seen as complicated, and to be honest, parts of it are complicated. So it's very often kind of ignored as a sort of a medium. So if we looked at sort of drones with cameras, how much does a drone video cost? Let's click on that. So the thing that I love about this little sort of wizardry is, click generate briefing. It's going to go off and it's going to do some magic. So this is Tubic. So we're creating a briefing around the topic, how much does a drone video cost? So projected monthly views of, now you see, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Search volume 20, but I suspect this number very often is because it gets shown as related content. It's, we'll see. Okay, so it's generating we'll come back to that in a moment. So here we are. It's done all of its similar keyword search. So here we are. Drone video Stonehenge. The best Stonehenge drone footage. Crikey, that is a bold claim. Well, funnily enough, we've got some Stonehenge drone footage ourselves from a project ages ago. Amazing drone footage. Drone Stonehenge. Dronehenge. Wiltshire. So you can see the sort of average monthly search volumes on these kind of searches are on. This is YouTube specific, just to remind you. And for those of you, if you've just dropped in, we're talking about how you can make sure there's an audience for your content. So this search volume, you can use this as a guide. If you're looking at a content plan that is rooted at the start in understanding how many people are searching for a particular topic and what those projected opportunity is. Let's see if that's come up with the goods yet. There's basically an AI doing some magic. Here we go. This blew my mind. So this is a beta part. Yeah, Mike, absolutely. This is it. Essentially, this is what we're. So what this has done, it has taken the video title, how much does a drone video cost? And it has written a script. These days, drones are becoming more and more popular. They're not just for hobbyists anymore. Today, we're going to show you how to capture your own. So you look at the AI and you choose your script. And so it has automatically generated a script for us. How do drone videographers make money? It also tells you how to structure your video. So it's telling you how you should be structuring that content. It also tells you what phrases to mention in the video. And then if we go into topic insights, it'll tell you well, Mike, I've still got a couple left at 500, and that's kind of basically me doing everything for you. So I do, we do all this, and we map out your content plan. Then, you are a consummate content creator, so you would be able to sort of take the approach. But I've got that package split into three. That would be amazing. God, I would absolutely love to work with you. Okay. So it also gives you all the video tags, all your keywords, and shows you all the competition. And so interestingly, Eric's aerial vision. So this is fascinating. Yeah, I was expecting this to be a really aggressively provided for area. I thought the drone video space would be really over sort of supplied in terms of content. But hey, this is fascinating stuff. So yeah, so this is essentially this is I'll ping you a message over, Mike. Because yeah, that would be fabulous. But yeah, there's other stuff I want to have a chat about anyway. Because I think there's opportunity. So essentially, this comes down to the idea of me not wanting to have people waste their time when it comes to making videos, because we're all pretty bloody busy. And if you are the sort of person who likes the idea of kind of guessing what their audience needs, then yeah, and if you've got lots and lots of time and you don't necessarily need your marketing to be hugely effective, then by all means, go out and sort of randomly create content. But if you're the sort of person that likes using their time wisely and likes to know there's people eagerly awaiting people creating content on a particular topic, then this is a great way to approach things. And this, so I did a live the other day about on a related topic, and this is around the idea that if you are strategically creating content for YouTube when you know there's an audience there, then you are building stuff up not just for now, but also for subsequent years to come. When we are constantly feeding the Facebook and Instagram beast, which I suggest you keep doing as well, but sort of from a video perspective, it's not the smartest use of video. Video on these platforms is great, and live video, that's a different kettle of fish. But pre-recorded stuff, it just gets lost. The nature of the feed, the sort of the feed nature of these platforms, be it Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is, your content's come and gone. Yet if you are creating content for audiences that you know that are there on a more library-based platform, a search-based platform like YouTube, then you know that content is going to keep on acting as a showcase. Now, for something like drone videography, you're going to have a YouTube channel anyway, so you might as well make that channel focused on business as much as anything, and kind of help those people understand how drone footage improves their business. And in fact, so when I was in the States recently, and I shot a little video. I'll see if I can find it and share it, actually, because it was I wanted a bit of drone footage to put it, and I went online and I bought a little bit of where is it? Let's put me on. If I can find my. Go back in time. I think I put it on. Did I put it on LinkedIn? Ah, there we go. So I shot this over in the States, and obviously I wanted drone footage, but I didn't get any, because I didn't take a drone with me, because I don't have one. But I just went online and bought this shot. I mean, it's a little mood piece shot on my it's a Roadrunner, shot on my phone. It's all shot on my phone. But the drone bit wasn't, obviously. But I just went and found a bit of footage and bought paid a little bit of money to get a drone shot of Palm Springs, and it was lovely. Because it was, I wanted it. Ooh, it's doing stuff. Okay, so to sort of sum up, I don't want you to be wasting time with your content. I want you to be creating video content that is going to connect with the right people at the right time. And that is why starting with research around how many people are interested in a given topic and then creating content around that is a really good way to be intentional and focused on the kind of things you're creating. And that's what I want for people. So look, I do have a deal at the moment on my one-to-one where I'll do all this for you. So if you're interested in this, drop me a message or put a comment here and I'll follow up and we can go from there. Hey Janelle, I'll watch the rest on replay. I had a fiasco with some macaron. Listen, we've all been there. I mean, normally my macaron-based fiascos are mostly to do with me eating too many of them, but we all have our crosses to bear, don't we? What's mine say? Good. Very useful. Currently, my best performing video is one of a dancing squirrel as opposed to a nice local drone video. Well, yes. I mean, this is all about focus, isn't it? You know, if you've got a dancing squirrel channel, then the dancing squirrel would be perfect. But if you're not interested in selling squirrel dancing paraphernalia, then perhaps some research around kind of the topics that people are looking for help with around drone content creation would be good. But yeah, no, it is not a dark art, but there is an art to it as we build out. Hello, James. How are you doing? It's nice to see you here. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Cheers. So that's it. Content and cocktails. I'm pretty much done. I've had a French 75 for those of you who are interested in the drink for this evening. I've been talking about the value of taking some time to research what people actually want content-wise when you're creating it, and how you can be intentional about your content creation as opposed to just kind of making something randomly and hoping people watch it. You're a man of quality, James. He says, who doesn't? I defy anyone to dislike the French 75 as a drink. Mike, as always, it's been a pleasure to see you here, and yeah, I'll message you and we will pick the conversation up in the DMs, as they say. That's it. I'm done. Tom, over and out. Have a lovely rest of the evening and a fabulous Friday. See you tomorrow.